What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. And today we are talking about Aquaman and the Lost City. You know how I feel about it. You know, it has all our favorite people in it: Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And then some others, you know who I'm talking about, who I'm not going to mention.
Randall Park? You're not going to mention Randall Park?
Don't forget Jake the
Yeah,
Mus.
them too.
Tamuera Morrison,
and
baby.
Nicole Kidman was in. Come on.
There we
come on.
go. That's what I like to hear. But
Randall Park.
Yep. But with that, sit back, relax, and turn it to 11. Right. So here we are talking about
Again.
Aquaman 2.
Dose.
Whatever. Okay.
The last DCEU movie.
Is it really?
It's not the Aquaman, right? What was that?
Randolph said it was the last DC. It is the last DC.
EU.
Yeah, I guess you're
Or
right.
the last Zack Snyder era movie from DC.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, no, it's not about Aquaman. So
It's not.
disclaimers:
It's not.
1, there might be some spoilers, and
Yeah,
2,
some.
I don't dislike this movie because it's Aquaman. I dislike it because of Amber Heard. Just so you know. Okay, so
And not Mira.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mira.
Not
Mira,
Mira.
the character is all right. Although I do have one complaint, and we'll get to that obviously when we get to the complaints. But
Yes.
to start off, compared to the first movie or the last movie, however you want to see it, which one was better to you guys?
I like the story in this one more than the one in the first one. Because, it's one of the first movie was more of like, long lost son supposed to inherit this kingdom. Then you have jealous son who grew up knowing that he wasn't supposed to be the king. You know what I mean? Like that was it's a very regurgitated, scenario. So that's one I think is better. So the story was better in this movie than it was the first one.
Okay.
That was one of the first things that I had noticed was I was just like, yo, this is a cool story. Very cool story indeed. And they brought in a cool, what is that? A cool material, which was orichalcum, which New World, for all the New World players out there, orichalcum is a very expensive material, very expensive stone. All right. And in this movie, they showcase it as an energy source, which also makes sense because I don't know what it's actually made out of in the game that I'm playing, but I would assume it's like,
or however you say it.
It's like, what is it? It's like toxins. What am I? Nuclear. I think it's like nuclear. It's like a
uranium or
nuclear
something?
energy source. Something like that. Yeah. It's green. You know what I mean? So I'm like, ooh, that's not good. Kryptonian. Yeah, it could be Kryptonian. But it's Atlantis-cian. Atlantean. There you go. Atlantis-cian.
Very magical.
Atlantean. I don't know. What about you, Randolph?
I'm going to say I like the first one better. Only because going into watch this movie, just the fact that it's going to be the last DCEU movie. And I really like the DCEU universe that Zack Snyder had created. It's just a shame that it didn't really progress into what I kind of wanted, which was Black Adam going up against Superman. But anyways, I feel like this movie had a somewhat of a Thor Part 2 kind of vibe.
Whoa, Part 2? Dang.
Yes. Okay. I see Leo slapping his, I'm
sounds like he's agreeing with you.
I think he's 102% agreeing with me, but it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Thor, didn't he break out Loki from some kind of imprisonment? And,
he's done that many times, yes.
And, it was pretty funny. They were pretty funny, the duo of Thor and Loki. But we're talking about, what is it, Orman, Arthur Curry, Jason Momoa, Aquaman. Yeah, it just gave me that vibe. And I just felt like, oh gosh. And when you said regurgitating, I'm like, yeah, regurgitating MCU stuff into DC films now, and I'm like, no, this is not what we're trying to do. I understand James Gunn is running the joint in DC, but no, I don't. I wasn't really interested in this movie. As soon as I saw that plot, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're breaking him out. Loki, he's here. I kind of turned off a little bit and just
That makes
watched it
sense.
and just watched it for the entertainment. But yeah, that's I like the first one because it was just very original, and I just like how they, Black Manta's character was over there, and how he became to be the villain of Aquaman 2 before Amber Heard did her dirty stuff, and Aquaman, of course, doing his thing. I just really like Aquaman number one better than the second. What about you guys? Or Leo?
To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
Yo.
All right,
Okay.
floor is yours, Leo. Go
Nah,
ahead.
man. Hey,
All you.
look, shoot.
He about to spit, y'all. He about to spit.
Only if I could. Only if I could. Oh, if there was one ability I wish I had was
for you.
learn how to
Let me
rap.
pick up the mic for you.
But no, man. I sat there and I kind of thought the same thing, except I didn't think Thor 2. I thought Thor Love and Thunder was what popped in my head. And not storyline wise, energy wise. It was
Yes.
Thor Love and Thunder. Story wise, yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah, Thor 2 for
Yeah.
sure. But energy wise, I just sat there and felt like, okay, one of my complaints about, and I wish we could say this later on. I guess I can say it again later on to kind of like reiterate what I'm about to say right now. But one of my complaints with Thor Love and Thunder was that it was like punchline after punchline after punchline. It's like it was always constantly trying to be funny, but it came out obnoxious, and it's like, okay, whatever, we get it, right? I felt that way with this one. It's like I enjoy Jason Momoa in a lot of things, but in Aquaman 2, I kind of sat there going, was he like this in the first one where he just kept making joke after joke after joke? It was like he was always trying to be funny all the way through, right? And I will say that his the back and forth with Patrick Wilson's character, how do you say his name? Orm?
Yeah.
There were scenes where I'm like, oh, I like it because he was this lighthearted character and Orm was a lot more serious character. And so it kind of did work sometimes, but it was just like constant, just trying to throw jokes out. And I'm like, so whenever there was a serious moment that Aquaman had to go through, I was like, I just don't believe it because you're always joking around. So yeah, Thor for sure, but for me it was Thor Love and Thunder that it reminded me of. With that, I will say that I did enjoy the first one more than the second one. The storyline of the second one I did enjoy. I thought the storyline was pretty cool, right? But just the full aspect of the movie as a whole, the first one was more entertaining to me. And maybe because it was like the intro to Aquaman, and and they made Aquaman look cool, right?
They did.
So it was like, oh yeah, he gets a little bit of justice. I will say that the beginning of Aquaman 2, where he was talking about how people always, I'm like, what was it, like something about like he's always the butt of a joke. He's always the person nobody ever takes serious because he's Aquaman, which was like kind of like breaking the fourth wall because nobody ever takes Aquaman serious. I think I had a friend who once told me my favorite superhero is Aquaman, and I kind of like look at them like, Aquaman,
Why?
Really? So I did enjoy.
You must like swimming.
Yeah. You
So
must like to talk to fishes, huh?
Yeah. Actually, that's what it was. Like, because he gets to talk to fishes and stuff, and I'm like, I guess. So
I mean, that's a lot of people to talk to.
Yeah, that's true. So I did enjoy that he made fun of his character in that sense, like a fourth wall kind of situation there.
Yeah.
But I like the first one more for sure. For sure. I know,
that's kind of funny too.
Is like, I hate both of you. I think we can end this now.
It's funny. It's because there's certain things that are part of why those things are, like dialogue, storyline, and characters, right? Those all have everything to do with Miss Amber Heard. So we all knew that, Amber Heard's scenes were cut out, right? And we already knew that was going to happen, through all her, with her trial and all that stuff going on. And to me, that sucks for the movie. It sucks for the art, because now her real life is infecting our entertainment. You know what I mean? and that sucks for us. You know what I mean? Because Mira is the one that we're watching. We're not watching Amber. She's supposed to perform what Mira is, right? And because of taking it out, I believe that a lot of dialogue was forced in, which would be the, what is that? The comedy, the comedy relief, because I feel like those are all just excuses to make up for the scenes that she should have been in. You know what I mean?
I will accept that. I will accept that. I mean, we don't know unless we watch what was originally.
We don't know
what was originally supposed to come out.
Right.
But I could see that being the case, being that they took out probably because we don't. Yeah, how much of Amber Heard was in this movie? Who knows? Right.
Because we already know how powerful she was physically and politically within the realm of Atlantis.
Right.
She was the daughter of King Nereus, and he was for sure like 100% on Orm's like team in the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah.
And then so going into this movie, I sat down in the theaters before the movie started, and I'm like thinking, I was like, oh yeah, they could probably take out a lot of Amber's part. They're probably going to put in a lot more comedy. And then I was like, but they can't take out Mira.
No.
I was like, Mira's a very important person. I was like, they should have just recasted her. I'm telling my brother, I was like, they should have just recasted her. You know what I mean? I'm just like, just recast her.
No, and I agree with you. Like she's very important, like politically, physically, power wise, and everything. And Aqua baby's there, and every time there's a baby, there's got to be a mama there. So come on, Mara's got to be in there. So and I was watching it not for Amber Heard, but for Mara. But it was just very difficult to just sit there and watch that unfold. In the back of my mind, the whole
that's
thing.
Why,
I will say in the beginning parts where he's talking about him being a dad and having the baby, whatever. There were parts, because there were parts where Amber Heard wasn't in it, right? And there was that part where he was laying in bed and the baby was in his arm, and he's like just laying there right before Amber comes into the room, right? But we haven't seen her in forever already. I think it was like maybe 20-30 minutes of not seeing her at all, and I'm just like in my head I was like, where's Mira at? but I do agree, removing her does affect the character, right? My issue,
why was the baby on land too? I'm just like,
why is not in the water?
Isn't the baby like 75% water?
He's more Atlantean than he is, I would say,
his
right?
Father, yeah.
But
yeah, for sure.
I can't wait to see him run too, just like how Ocean Master was running.
But he never knew how to run. That's why until he was taught.
It was so funny. It was just hilarious.
And I also got to say that a lot of the the acting that Jason Momoa did towards Orm when they were trying to joke around each other or just like hype each other up, I felt it was so forced and it was weird. And I was just like, I wondered if Orm or the Ocean Master was actually the original. Like, I wonder if he was the one that was supposed to be called upon, or was it just going to be him and Mira? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that was the case. However, I wasn't convinced that Jason was the older brother. You know what I mean? I wasn't convinced by his acting, which is really rough for me. I was just like, oh, that's a little. I was like, that felt forced. I was like, oh, that didn't really feel. The only times it felt legit was when he was calm. He's all like, anytime he was like brother to brother, and it was calm, and they were talking. That felt real. And when there was barely any barely any action physically between each other. Them, it didn't make any sense. It wasn't. There was no chemistry. But whenever they were just calm and collective and doing like the little cockroach prank, those felt real.
Yeah, that was funny.
Know what I mean?
I thought that was the funny part.
Yeah,
I think that was like one of the 2 or 3 times. The running. I think those were like the few times where I actually laughed. I'm like, that was funny. Yeah. You're like, what are you doing with your arm?
Yeah, I was like, Naruto's
that was hilarious. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, talking because I did. You mentioned something and it popped in my mind because I'm like a mental note and I totally forgot about this. But when Randolph was talking about how it reminded him of Thor 2. To me, it also reminded me the scene where Orm and Arthur go to the what was it, the Pirate Kingdom or whatever it was called.
You mean the island?
Underwater where
the Lost Kingdom.
The Lost
was
Kingdom.
it the Lost Kingdom?
The Zombie Kingdom or whatnot.
No. Where they go meet the pirate shark people and
the pirate the pirate area. Yeah. Oh, I forgot the name of that place.
But when they go there and they're talking to the boss of that group, the only thing that was coming through my mind was Star Wars when Luke Skywalker is talking to Jabba the Hutt and he's just laying there. And so I'm like, this is very Star Wars like right now. Like this whole scene is Star Wars Tatooine, but underwater, like the opposite of the desert land. It's just, it was very much the same. And any Star Wars fan, and if you watch this, let me know if I'm right. I know I am. So you can agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, then don't write anything at all. I'm just saying. But no, I'm just kidding. You write what you want. But to me, I was like, are we on Tatooine right now? But just underwater. So yeah, I felt like it was taking a lot of things from other movies or other things and just putting it into this one movie. Maybe it felt that way because it was the last of the DCU. DC, what the heck do you call it?
DCEU.
Yeah, DCEU.
What does the E stand for?
Entertainment.
Yo, why did you have to add the E part?
Really?
It should have just been DCU, but
now it is. It's DCU now.
Oh, okay.
Now that James Gunn's running it.
It's extended.
Oh, extended.
Extended universe.
Oh, that makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
I said entertainment. My bad. Yeah, it's extended.
That makes more sense. Yeah, so maybe they felt like, as the last one, who cares? We're not even gonna put too much effort into this. I don't know. True. I don't know.
That's how I got it too. That's how I got out of it too. But just to throw it out there, did any of you guys think that Patrick Wilson would have been a better Aquaman than Jason Momoa? Or
Patrick Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
Physically looking,
be a better Aquaman.
Castaway, I was kidding.
Physically, yeah.
Physically, sure. Yes. And I wonder if that's why they picked him as Orm.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's the case. Physically,
I think Orm looked exactly like Aquaman in the original as well.
I mean, you might be right. I don't remember seeing Orm as a cartoon character. So I would have to look him up.
Yeah, he always had his helmet on.
Yeah, he always had a helmet on.
But you could have definitely had Patrick Swayze.
I was gonna say Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Wilson. He could have played. He would have played like OG Aquaman, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, you can definitely put Jason Momoa in as Ocean Master. He's wearing a helmet, and I'm looking at him right now. Orm Marius, he has dark features. He's dark hair.
I believe the only reason why Jason Momoa was put into that character was because the director wanted that.
Yeah.
That Hawaiian look.
Yeah. And the Jason Momoa hype for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like I said, I enjoy Jason Momoa in a lot of other things that I've watched. So it's not like they chose the wrong person. I thought he was interesting. But yeah, I do agree with you, Randolph. I think that what's his face Wilson would have been much better. Wilson? Yeah, Patrick Wilson would have been more accurate Aquaman.
So with Black Manta, as a character towards Arthur, do you guys feel like his revenge has been justified?
I think his whole revenge thing is mental because he mad at Arthur or Aquaman for not saving his dad, who they both are criminals, right? You know what I'm saying? They're criminals, right? And that's why I was just like, I think does Black Manta believe heroes to save everyone despite who that person is, like doctors,
right?
Because doctors, like if they see a patient, they're going to save it, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter if this patient has killed 300,000 people. That the doctor's got to do it. But Black Manta, he is so bent on revenge for his father. He's like, you could have saved him. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you guys shouldn't have done that gig. Maybe I don't know. Well,
yeah.
I'll just maybe if you didn't do that gig that day.
I mean, so to answer that question, I think it could be for anybody. If like for example, like if I was in Black Manta's shoes and my dad was like, he passed away, and there goes Aquaman, who's literally like the Aqua Lord, and literally could just like save him. And it's like, oh man, that dude sucks. I think it's just a matter of perspective, and whatever your perspective is in your angle is your your perception, I believe, and your reality. It becomes your reality, and I think that's what happened with Black Manta. So now, prior to all that event that happened in Aquaman 1, did he see Arthur as Aquaman as a hero? I don't know. Maybe, yeah. But didn't he have
Probably.
like some kind of like didn't he have like some animosity against them already in the beginning?
Probably because he would always thwart their plans,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and I think that he expected a lot from Aquaman, and that's where he failed to realize that, bro, I was like, you're like, there's no reason as to why Aquaman let your dad die. You
Right.
let it's like, you did, he said, you gotta help my dad. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I was like, why you gotta help him?
Like, you're supposed to be the
I mean,
hero, like, come
Yeah,
save
he should
them,
have. Not gonna lie, because he's a hero.
Yeah.
But he should have. That's what sets heroes apart from people. They do the things that people don't want to do or won't do.
Or that's what sets
Yeah.
the people away from the villains as well,
Yes. And it's crazy too. There's always a thin line between hero and a villain.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on how they take pain.
Yeah, that's true.
It's their output.
That's true.
The output.
So
Revenge wise, was
What
it
do you think?
justified? No, I don't think it
Nah.
was. But then again, also I'm one of those people, like, to me, revenge seems so ridiculous to begin with because it doesn't solve a
Mhm.
situation. All you brothers out there,
Yeah.
who are constantly looking for revenge for some reason, it's not going to fix anything. It's only going to hurt more. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't be angry at a person for longer than a minute before I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I can't imagine holding on to that so much that I want to get even with, or hurt them in the same manner that they hurt me. It's like, it's way too much. I'm too lazy for that kind of stuff. Way too much work. So yeah, to me, I'm like, bro, you crazy. It's so unjustified. But I do agree. Like, I think part of the issue, like you were saying, is like a hero is seen a certain way, that they're
Yeah.
supposed to
Mhm.
act this way. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, right? But even if it's like they couldn't save them, whether or not they wanted to or not, right? They couldn't. They're not gods, right? They're still
Yeah.
people.
Right.
They still lack to a certain degree. They can only get so far before they
Yeah.
fail, right? So
Right.
but we as people can probably look at them, or at least in these movies, right? They look at them. Look at what was it? The Justice League, where everybody, or even Superman versus Batman.
Right. Batman versus Superman.
Like, everybody was looking at Superman like he was
Mhm.
just this god that was unbeatable, whatever. It's like, nah, man, he's even lost people on his way, right? He
Mhm.
hasn't saved
Mhm.
everybody all the time. He just can't, right?
Right.
So it's that same idea. It's like, we could only go so far. We are only so mortal. So from that perspective, yeah, it's unjustified. But I think that was what was interesting about his character in the second one, right? The first one too, but in the second one, I think you see his character open up a little bit more, because you see the last scene, right, with him where he's about to fall off.
Yeah.
And he's hanging off of there, and Aquaman this time, he extends his hand to help him, and he's like, what he said, never, right? I think that's what he said. He said never, and he just lets go. He'd rather die with hatred in his heart towards him than to take his hand and forgive him for what might have happened to his father. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not saying that he died. I mean, technically, I guess he did. We'll never know, because this movie, the DCEU ends here, so you could leave it as it is. But
Yeah.
True.
But
True.
I mean,
But
that's crazy.
The sweetest revenge is success. And then I'm like, how would you be more successful than Aquaman? I was like, you'd have to probably like make Atlantis flourish. You know what I mean? You'd have to literally take away his kingdom because you provide more.
Yeah.
I was just like, you'd have to like usurp that throne, I was like, that's one way to do it. But then he knows that he don't care about the throne,
Yeah.
He would have to buy the lighthouse land.
He made it clear in
You know what I mean?
part 2,
Make his dad go into debt. He doesn't think very properly. I was like, there's other ways.
That's
God.
true.
Inflate all the prices in the state that his father exists. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, there's ways, bro. Logistics, go into that. But yeah, I don't think that Black Manta his whole reason for it was mental to me, but
Yeah.
Well,
it's because
each their own, right?
it's because Black Manta
Black Mantha.
Yeah.
Black Manta.
Love
There's
it.
a reason why. There's a reason why I said that.
Mantha.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why Black Manta and Aquaman didn't have that kind of moment at the very end. Is because they didn't have the same mom's first name, you know. So that's why it didn't work. It's the reason why I said Black Mantha, because I had Martha in my mind. So
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. No,
it, dude.
well, and if I remember well, I could be wrong, and this is probably one of my complaints that I was going to bring up later. If I remember well, Black Manta kills Arthur's son. So
in the
comics.
in the comics,
in the comics, yeah, he kills his son. Now I don't remember how old the son is, so maybe that's why he didn't die here in this moment. I don't know if he was an infant like he is now, where Black Manta kills him, or if he grew up to be like some kind of a child, you know, a toddler or something, and then he gets killed by Black Manta. But I do remember Black Manta killing him, his son. So when you ask once again, is his revenge justified? At any point in time, is the death of a child justified? The murder of a child, not the death, but the murder of a child, is that justified? No, in my opinion, it's not. So his revenge is definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you know, it definitely wouldn't fare well in today's society. Like, you know, we're not in the Stone Age where that was normal. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
The death of a child, you know, that was like, it wasn't. Children weren't considered like precious then. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
like
yeah,
we're not in the Stone Age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree to some extent to that, for sure. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the use of children in a lot of like labor, for example. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But even like
we saving them out here.
So I thought that was interesting. I thought to answer the question, I don't think it was justified, especially when you think about what he does in the comic book where he kills his son, right?
Yeah.
As part of his revenge. You're just
That's
like,
messed up.
You are off your hinges, homie.
All because of his dad. Eye for an eye, right? Makes the world blind.
I guess so. But
yeah.
So, okay. Next question. Here's the question. How did you guys feel about the zombies and how do you say the lost city of Necris?
Yeah.
Like necromancy. Necris.
Mm-hmm. How do I feel? Okay. So,
that makes sense.
I think that
a little bit on the nose, don't you think?
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I feel like that's also been used to kind of gave me that White Walker from Game of Thrones vibe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow. And then you have Aquaman going in, you know, aka the what is it? Oh, I forgot his tribe name in the horse tribe in Game of Thrones. I forgot the tribe name, but I was like, oh snap. It's Game of Thrones all over again. Instead of blue and they're in ice. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, it's Green Walkers.
Yo, that's actually pretty funny.
So that's why I'm just like, I felt like that storyline could have been a lot, or they could have dived more into it, like between Atlan and Kordax.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when I guess they were brothers, right? And Kordax had the power of the Orichalcum, and you know the Orichalcum I guess got to his head, which also makes me understand that Black Manta wasn't doing all of his revenge on his own. You know what I'm saying? Like it was also from Kordax, which was the previous or the king of Necris, you know? And did he remind you a little bit of Groot? Or like maybe Groot's cousin?
Who, Necris?
Huh? Necris, yeah. When he was inside of his mind. When I saw him, I was like, he looks like wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. Uh-huh.
He's like maybe like Plank's cousin from Ed and Eddie or Groot's cousin. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, he looked like wood. I was like, is he, you know?
Another thing getting pulled from somewhere else.
Man.
You know?
Game of Thrones meet Plank.
Shout out to Janice Zhao. She played Stingray. I gained a crush while watching that movie. I saw her. I was like, who is that? Barely spoke. Barely had any lines. But I'm like, she's showing up at the most random
She had a lot of yelling
parts.
lines.
I had like 3 minutes of total film time on that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm like, well, who's that? Like at first I says, oh, she's cute. And then she's gonna get boom. I'm like, all right, she's coming up in front of me like a lot. I was just like, I have an attachment to her. She was my crush in the movie. FYI. All right, back to the episode. So Necris,
come back.
I thought I'd bring that up.
No. You should.
Because I'm the unmarried one here of the three. All right, Jenny Zhao. I think you're married too, but Stingray's my crush.
If you end up not being,
Stingray's not married. Stingray.
He call you up.
It is.
Call me up. Dude. Hit me up.
He's the one. He's the one. I don't know about Necris, the Zombie Kingdom. What did they refer to it? The Black City or something like that?
Yeah.
I feel like throughout the whole movie, as they were talking about their orichalcum, I think that's how you say it. Orichalcum. They were just giving like brief history, and then all of a sudden, I don't know who it was, but they gave like this whole spiel of what happened to the city, and I was like, oh, okay, 2 minutes of that history lesson. I think there should be a little bit more.
With the Black Trident.
Yeah, with the Black Trident,
which was cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. And I thought it'd be more powerful than I felt like it can tear apart Aquaman's trident for some reason. Like it just had that feeling and aura.
Especially
like,
with that ending fight.
Yeah, I thought that's what's gonna happen. Nope. Here comes Aquaman's trident. Just going straight through it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. It's got the more powerful fork. I get it.
It was this close from being a nunchuck.
Yeah.
It could have been a solo nunchuck for just like a scene. I was like, it would have been so dope to see just Black Manta just like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bruce Lee it up. And I'm like, do it. I was like, because it was mostly separated and boom, right?
Yeah.
You could have the energy as a chain between them.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
And I was like,
that would have been crazy.
That would have been cool.
It's a nunchuck trident.
Nunchucks are probably like, nunchucks are probably like Apple products. Apple products can only be used by the heroes.
It's
on
not,
TV.
It's not a trident. It's
so
a
nunchucks can only be used by heroes.
Only heroes.
I'm kidding.
I mean, I thought the Necris was okay. Whatever, the zombies were zombies. I will say though, the history lesson to me was kind of interesting, right? Because it was about, which is obvious, what I'm going to point out. So sorry, but it's like the two brothers who were unable to
coexist.
No, not coexist, but like to forgive each other, to come together, and so one got destroyed and the other one survived. Right. So it's a reflection of what's happening to Arthur and Orm. Right. If they don't coexist, the same thing will happen to them. But as you can tell, Orm gave up the trident. Right. As Arthur was like, let go of it. He let go. He trusted his brother. So he was able to succeed where their great grandparents, I don't know how far back in generations, were not able to succeed. Right. So. So, it was 1,000. They did say that. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. From that perspective, it's like, right, the history repeating itself, but this time they actually succeeded in forgiving each other. And once again, there that constant repetition, right? Orm forgiving and Arthur forgiving. They what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a C. I can't remember what the word is, but like forgiving each other, coming together.
Convincing. No, I was kidding.
Coexist.
While Mantis could not, and he'd rather die than to forgive and move forward. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure though that trident was also a big part. And aside from Stingray, Jenny Zhao, Randall Park, he played such an integral part to Black Manta's character, and I remember seeing him in the first movie, and I was just like, "Oh snap!" He was just an Ant-Man. You know what I mean?
He was.
He was just an Ant-Man, and then now he has a for sure part in this movie. As Dr. Stephen Shin, and I was like, "Oh, he in there." And all he wanted was
to see Atlantis.
to see Atlantis. And I was like, "Well, if you see Necris, it's one of the kingdoms." You know what I'm saying? I was just like, You saw a seventh of it. It's not Atlantis per se. It's not Atlantis only. You saw a seventh of it. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, hey, I was just like, Black Manta did give you what he promised. It may not be in the right, way. Dude, when he saw Black Manta with the baby, Black Manta just closes the door. I was just like, Black Manta character, or I forgot his name in the. I just know mostly as Black Manta, but he was all like, "Yo, what are you doing with that kid?" You know what I mean? Eyes all green, kid just like chilling. He's not like. It's funny too because the baby wasn't crying.
Yeah,
I was just like, I guess it's because maybe it's the trident. It's like, oh, that's my grand uncle or great grand uncle stuff. You know what I mean? Like maybe I was just like, this is weird. I was just like, that would look really like. I should call somebody, kind of, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, Dr. Shin, he played such an integral part to Black Manta's story and how they progressed throughout. And it was really good to see that there was a balance within Black Manta's team, with the beautiful Stingray and then Dr. Steven Shin. You know what I mean? It's such a great balance.
Awesome team. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome
yes.
team.
There's gotta be some kind of good-looking person in
brawn,
there,
You know what I'm saying?
All of it. It was the whole. It was the whole 9 yards
Shebang.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget about Black Manta.
No, yeah.
Black Manta was the brawn, Steven Shin was the brain, and Stingray was the beauty.
Yeah. No. 100%.
Just making sure everybody knows.
No. I mean, anybody who doesn't needs to get their eyes checked.
We'll link it up in the episode.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
No, they should. They should 100%. But I do agree with you. I thought Shin I enjoyed his character. I thought that Randall Park, I thought he did a great job. I enjoyed him playing this character. He always plays the same kind of character in a lot of things that he does, like the comic relief. But like, okay, I want to say something. Okay, for those of you, we did a review on Blue Eye Samurai. I don't know if you watched it. If you haven't, go watch it. But he's also in that. I did not enjoy him in Blue Eye Samurai, not because he didn't do a good job. It's just the character and the voice didn't seem like it was the same person, so it was really hard for me to follow it. Right? I'm like, man, his voice doesn't fit that character, right? So that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. But in this, I was like, yeah, you're convincing me. I can see you as this, anthropologist. I think is what he was, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I would think he's an anthropologist
or archaeologist.
You might be right. Archaeologist. I think that's right.
Studies history and stuff.
Yeah. I think you're right. I enjoyed his character a lot, and yeah, he was the brains to Black Mantis's bronze.
He's a marine biologist.
Marine biologist. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, right. Straight up.
He's looking for Atlantis, and he's a marine biologist.
Yeah. He's a marine biologist obsessed with Atlantis. I mean,
yeah, but Nico Robin is an archaeologist, and she's a pirate on the waters. She's studying the void history.
For those of you who are marine biologists out there, please let me know. Is part of your practice to also look up, cities that have sunken, or are you all about
like an obsession about?
No, I get it. I get it.
Cities.
But like a marine biologist in my mind is someone who studies marine animals, right? Marine life, cities that have sunk to the bottom of the ocean, or, stuff like that. Maybe a marine archaeologist or marine anthropologist. No, anthropologist, no, archaeologist. Yeah, I could take that. But a biologist, it seems interesting. If you're a biologist, let me know. A marine biologist, let me know. If I'm wrong, who knows? Maybe I am. Anything else?
Well, I think if you guys could change anything in the movie, aside from the obvious, what would it take for what change would it be to make this movie better? I think.
What's the obvious that you're referring to?
Earlier we were talking about Amber.
Oh, Amber was one thing for sure. Like
she played a big part as into why this movie could have probably been better.
We should have just recasted her,
They should have, but I would imagine it just, like I said, maybe because it was the last movie. Who cared? Like they're like, I don't care anymore, or whatever.
Then why take out her scenes?
Because they rather make some money than no money, I would imagine.
Yeah.
No, like keep her scene. They should have kept her scenes. Like they should have just kept it.
I mean, they did.
It's the last one,
right? Because they did that with Ezra, right? They did not cut.
No, they gave him his own movie. Yeah.
Yeah, they made him a movie. Yeah,
And I'm so mad that they're taking out. They're getting rid of Jonathan Majors. I'm so sad about that, man.
I'm upset that they didn't have Grant Gustin from the CW Flash in the Flash movie like they had originally planned. Since he showed up into
Oh.
Grant Gustin's Flash.
Maybe it's from jealousy. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I think the running in general is kind of weird too. But
Yeah.
beside the point.
Yeah.
But to the other thing, changes that there's gonna be a messed up change.
Dang.
I know people are not gonna like.
You mean
for the-
you wish that
No,
it was
no.
comic book?
Yeah, it's comic book.
Right,
And he was 5
it
years
would be-
old.
Right, yeah.
Because it was he 5 years old when he died?
Yeah, I just looked it up. He was 5 years old.
Okay, great. Then never mind. I take back what I just said because like I said earlier, I don't know
Yeah,
if it was when
yeah.
he was a baby or what. Did he grow a little bit before he died? If he did grow a little before he died, then
You want to be comic book accurate.
Like if Aqua Baby were to die, I think then
No one would like this movie.
it's
yeah,
kind
they
of
would.
what
They would
makes.
boycott it. You know.
Well, but
Yeah.
the thing is, it's kind of what makes Aquaman who he is, right? The loss of his baby. How many other superheroes can you say lost their child? Right? Aquaman is different in that aspect. Nobody else even. How many other superheroes even have children to begin with? It adds to who his character is. Granted, does it matter? No, because they're not going to make more of them. Right? So I guess killing him or not wouldn't affect the future of his character.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty
And,
sure all
I think that's
seven-
why they didn't go that route, because then you're gonna have to go and be like, oh man, this is another story. We're gonna get a much more serious Aquaman, a Black Manta that got his revenge, and
Goofy the
Goofy,
whole
yeah.
way through.
Jolly. He was jolly.
If that's the word you want to use.
I think
I like Jason Momoa. I love him to death. He's pretty cool. I like him. I think he is gonna be a very good like whoever he's gonna be right now. Like he signed up to be another DCEU character.
Lobo, right?
Lobo. Yeah.
Like he would fit perfectly in that role, like perfect. But as far as him being Aquaman, I don't know. Like
To
I
be
get
honest,
it.
there's
I
no
don't know.
good Aquaman to go off of other than what's on the page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because of Jason Momoa being there, the new comics that are coming out from DCU has Aquaman have long hair, beard, and tattoos now.
Yeah,
And compared to the classic Aquaman that we're so used to seeing, like it's just
wait,
it's all
Justice
different
League
now, you know?
Unlimited, Justice League Unlimited, he had long hair,
yeah, and that's because like they had
This- but that was
What?
before Jason.
oh, he was getting older, I think, right?
I don't know. He was like it was Justice League Unlimited. So we were like what 15 when that came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like, they tried to trap him in water. He's like, King of the Seas.
Mhm.
you know,
That's so funny.
King of that
and he-
jar.
Yeah, and he destroys them. Yeah, so like he's always had long hair. The old look, like the 60s, 70s look, where it looked absolutely horrid. is like model to look after, and I'm like, oh. And then in Justice League Unlimited, he had long hair, and then any other film after he with the most recent movie, was it Flashpoint, or I guess one of Flashpoint, he had short hair. That's the one I remember. Remember where the Flash ran to save his mom, and then everything,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that was more of the comic book accurate. that you're
Flashpoint
talking
Paradox.
Yeah, Flashpoint
Mhm.
Paradox. Yeah. I believe
That would have
he
been
was-
a great live action movie.
which is what I thought the Flash was going to do, but they did not do that. They did a different version of it, which is fine. It's a multiverse, you know.
They
But
should
I
at least
just-
kept Supergirl. She was pretty good. I liked her.
Kara.
Sasha Kara.
Kara. Yeah.
Kara, yeah. I forgot her. I think her actress name is Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha Bell. No.
Um,
Was there any Easter eggs that you saw?
no, just the fact that it felt like I was watching Thor 2 all over again with the Thor Love and Thunder energy that Leah was talking about. And the fact that when Aquaman came and saved Orm, and he did look like Tom Hanks in Castaway, which is why he said Castaway. And it's funny because the actor playing him was Patrick Wilson. I mean, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Patrick Wilson played I think he did really good as well, playing as someone who, he lost his honor, so he was going to be honorable
Mhm.
and live his life sentence, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, dang, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And remember how thin he was, like without water? They just gave him barely enough. And then as soon as he falls into water, boom, buff.
Yep.
I was like, I wish that's all it took.
Just like
go to the
Superman with
beach.
the sun.
All of a sudden, you got like super big pecs. That's unfair. I was just like, what the
Just
heck?
drink some water. Go, go, go. Oh.
You know? Boof. That's the Easter egg right there. Go to that beach, whatever beach that was. Because I was like, weren't they in the middle of a desert? But,
yeah.
And they had a bunch of desert crustaceans. I was like, aren't those guys? I was like, I thought they were the bad guys from, Necris, but nah, they're a different kingdom altogether. They were the 8th kingdom that dried up.
Oh my gosh.
You guys know what time it is. It's time to grade this movie. And I think Randolph will go first.
Yeah. So I've already said and established that the first one is more better than the second. I liked it more better. I like the first one better. And the second one, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give it like a C plus. C plus. I think that's like the lowest grade that I've ever given anything in the podcast. I don't know. I might be wrong, but a C plus. I just felt like
might have to make an Excel sheet of all our grades.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. We're gonna have to like link that up or something for
right.
everybody. But I just wasn't feeling it. Like it was just too. First of all, we're going in there with Amber Heard, knowing that she's gonna be there. Number two, the whole storyline was just very similar to like what Leo pointed out, like the other MCU counterparts, like Thor and Loki. And then we have and even like your comparison with Luke, was it Luke Skywalker or Anakin? Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, and it was like,
yeah,
like I don't know, it just didn't feel original. And I think the only part that got me off of my seat a little bit was the fact that he went after the baby, and I was like, oh crap, okay, this is gonna be good. Bad good, but it's gonna be good, right?
It's gonna be interesting.
Nobody messes with the baby, So I'm like,
puts
okay,
baby in the corner.
Yeah, no one puts baby in the corner. Patrick Swayze. Anyway, not Wilson, but Patrick Swayze. Anyways, so I thought they're gonna go and follow the comic books. Yes, the baby, it was still a baby. He's not 5 years old, but I really like comparing movies to the comics, and I was like, okay, they're gonna do it. Yeah, they didn't, and for obvious reasons, because it's the last movie, we wouldn't find out because they wouldn't make another Aquaman. They wouldn't have a Aquaman 3, so it's like, why would they even do it in the first place? So
right.
But yeah, that's everything else. It had the comedy. Again, felt like it was forced. It's like haha, and it's like, all right, yeah, we get it. Just Momoa had some funny lines, but it was just like, let's push it out there. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a C plus. I don't know. This is it's down there as much as the Flash. I'll pass it over to Leo here.
Okay. I mean, what could I say that Randolph, didn't say? I agree with pretty much everything he said, 100%. The only thing I don't agree with is the grade itself. And I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C. I was thinking about a C minus, but I'm like,
I said C plus. Guys.
The thing that really bothered me most was just the force jokes that kept coming out, and you're just like,
yeah, I
only laughed twice. I only laughed twice. The cockroach scene and the running scene were probably the two funniest parts of the whole movie, and I'm like, that deserves a laugh. But everything else, I was just like, I get it. So
did it feel like a K-drama when they opened up the refrigerator and you see a bunch of Guinness? It felt like a Korean drama, right? Because they always have that random product that they just showcase. I was just like, did Guinness?
There's a lot of Guinness.
Like, Guinness paid for this, huh?
Somebody had to pay for all the cuts.
Yeah, right? And, why not Guinness? Am I right? Okay. All right. For me, now, I did like this movie better than the first one, but the first one had cooler stuff in it. And my grade isn't going to reflect on how I feel about the movie, because there's a lot of things about it that I did like, and there was a lot of things that I didn't like about it, but it just came out the way it is. You know what I'm saying? The fact that it's also the last of the DCEU, it also sucks too. So that affects my grade as well. So, I was like, I didn't know that it was, I thought James Gunn was going to pick it up where they left off and kind of like use that as like a stepping stone. But if this is the last one, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And so I actually give my grade is the same as yours, Leo. It is a C.
What?
Yeah, I give it a C because there was the joke stuff, right? There's a lot of jokes that just didn't land, and a lot of the oomph that Jason needed to do in some of the parts. It felt like it wasn't a natural. It didn't feel natural. The only parts that were natural was the more heartfelt parts. The parts where he was actually asking his brother where he needed him the most. Like those were the parts that were good. But the other ones that are supposed to make me feel like, yeah, it didn't feel like that. The other parts was also, did Amber Heard's parts that were taken out, were they going to make this movie a lot better? I feel like they probably would have, because Mara's character, she had that water control power. I was like, bro, she ain't losing to anybody in the ocean. I'm just like, come on. I was just like, this person has to be next to like, Orm. You know what I mean? Like only people like Orm and Arthur are the only type of, or only people that could fight Mira, because Mira's a beast. Okay. And her not being recasted is probably made the brand lower to me. If she was recasted, I think it probably would have stayed up there, because, we all would have understood why. But then again, you also have to think that the entire cast would have to reshoot a bunch of stuff, which,
and I think they were way deep in the movie, if not at least done with probably all the filming by that point. Yeah.
And that's why I think that all the beginning of the movie where it's just Arthur and his dad, Tom, like I feel like that was all added. It felt added. Because if you look at even at the screens, it didn't, like the lighting there just felt more, I guess, vibrant. And then when you go into the ocean, then it is more like that, more intense, which makes sense if that's what they're going for. But it just didn't feel, it felt weird. Cohesive? Like the land and yeah. You say cohesive or incohesive?
It didn't feel cohesive.
Yeah, it didn't feel cohesive. Yeah. It didn't feel, And so because of that, I give it a big old C. A nice 75%, 7.5
plus for the
out of 10. And also it would have probably been higher if Stingray had more than 3 minutes, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Aquaman.
They should just make a whole like a spin-off of Stingray. 100%.
Only for Iz.
Only for me. But yeah, no, like I think that this movie probably could have been a lot better if they more Stingray,
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 less Mara, more Stingray.
Well, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Anchor FM. You can listen to us every Monday on Overcast, Pocket Cast, Red Republic, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to check out our videos, and please leave a comment. Don't forget, turn it to 11.